is the main event.
This is the main event, Mark's podcast. I'm your master of ceremonies, former radio man, a lifelong wrestling fan, fig hunter, and the father of 6 cats. I am Troy. And my co-host, he's a coffee lover, figure collector, and he's the WWE walking wrestling encyclopedia. He is the Violent J to my Shaggy Two-Dope, putting asses on them bikes. Is Greg. What's up, man?
Oh, now you tick me off.
Starting right off with the ICP reference.
Good Lord, man. You know how to tick a dude off, but what's up?
Yeah, this is, well, if you want ticked off more, ladies and gentlemen, today we are reviewing WCW Road Wild 1999, and we're not reviewing this because, you know, we talked about this when we first started. We haven't really done any, I mean, we've done some boring shows that we've had to spice up. I don't think we've done any bad shows since we started.
Well, at least no bad out of like ironic, like, oh, let's just do this one because it's so terrible. But
right.
Yeah. But no, yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, so this is like our first, like, holy crap, this is so bad. And I picked this show not because necessarily it was bad, but I figured, well, it'd be funny to review because I didn't know the show off the top of my head. I just knew Road Wild, it's got to be terrible.
I didn't know everything, but I was like, oh, that's the one where Rodman's there. That might be a fun one.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty to talk about there.
I'm sorry if I'm a little liberal with that word "fun," by the way.
Well, it's WCW 1999, so, you know, towards the end of 99. So bad is kind of just like where they're sitting right now.
It's only going to get worse, folks.
Yeah.
This is probably the highlight of the bad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Which is sad. And we'll get into everything. I also wanted to cover it because it's the final show in Sturgis for WCW. So I know this is a historic moment. I liked when they found out Eric Bischoff would be running, quote unquote, running SmackDown for, you know, a whole 83 days. And Conrad said something to him about, you know, the Hog Wild and Road Wild pay-per-views, and he hated the Sturgis idea, whatever, and he was like, well, you never know, we could do such as that. And he was like, please, God, do not have SmackDown at a motorcycle rally for all things only.
Yeah.
This
Bring it to
show,
Alabama.
Oh my God. Yeah, this environment sucked. The show kind of sucked. Well, not kind of, it sucked. And we're going to get into all of that right here.
Real quick, though, I mean, you know, I like to try to find positives and things.
Yeah,
I think the visual overhead looked kind of cool, like the black hills in the background and all that. It was a cool looking setting, and then the actual event happened. I mean, I just don't get me wrong. I'm not like right. The bikes and stuff were obviously overkill, but in keeping with Sturgis. But if you look at the overhead shots of like the helicopter shots, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where it stops. So,
it was a decent visual. But when you think about everything for like 5 seconds, you're like, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
So it was, yeah. But we'll get into all that more deeply. I didn't, recently, by the way, if you want to listen to something that happened just a couple months before this, or a month before this, I should say, go back and listen to our ECW Heatwave 1999 episode. There's lots of news and notes on there. So a lot of the stuff from there, some of it is carrying over that we're going to be talking about right now, and then there is some new stuff. So it's definitely a good companion piece for the time period. And I'll tell you, Heatwave 99 was much better than this. This was just
God, how weird does that sound?
I know, right?
I'd rather watch ECW Heatwave.
Yeah, this was...
Good Lord, I cracked myself up just thinking about it. I'm like, said no one ever.
Until now. And you know what? I'm not even being like facetious. It was the better show.
Yeah. Clearly, easily. There's a couple of moments on here, though. We'll get to that. But
right.
We'll return after these messages. Now, back to our program.
Well, first of all, this is around the time the WWF has officially changed its corporate name from Titan Sports Incorporated to World Wrestling Federation Entertainment Incorporated, and announced that it has filed papers to go public. So they were about to go public, and this was around the time that I can't remember if it was JR or Bruce Pritchard. One of them was saying, it's like, people kept coming up to him and was like, hey, about to go public. You're about to be rich. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. And then like down the line, he's like, holy crap, I have a lot of money.
Yeah, those stockholders will do that for you.
Yep.
There's a couple obvious jokes in there that I'm going to just overlook, but
right. Yeah, this was a big thing, big historic thing for the WWE at the time of the WWF.
Days in the history of our sport, yes.
Good Lord. That was not said by Tony Schiavone on the show, though. Thank God.
But yet it was, because it was the last show, but whatever.
Yeah, thank God. Oh, we're out of here.
I literally thank God, trust me. It's like, thank you for this. No more. Yeah,
thank you for no more Road Wild. The Kansas City Police Department has completed their criminal investigation into the Owen Hart death from just, not too long ago, and no charges will be filed. This wasn't even a full 3 months after the tragic death of Owen Hart, so Vince McMahon is still doing interviews about it on like TSN and places like that.
Probably getting dragged around on TSN too.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't pull any punches with him. That's for sure. And I mean, we know this isn't the end of it. Martha Hart would file a wrongful death lawsuit, and I think she won, didn't she? Didn't they say that on?
I'm pretty sure they settled, but that's good enough.
Yeah, so she got enough money out of it. She said it was just enough money. She started the Owen Hart Foundation. So, I mean, some good came about it. And like we pumped this show many times. Definitely go back and watch season 2 of Dark Side of the Ring. They did an amazing episode. If anybody has any bad thoughts on Martha Hart and has any weird feelings about the kids and how they're feeling, go back. They talk about their feelings themselves, and you get a whole new perspective on it. Some of the stuff was very eye-opening for me. I don't know about you.
It was tough to watch.
It was. But you definitely get a sense of why Martha and her kids feel the way they do. Also, Vince McMahon is doing press around this time promoting then Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura will be the special guest referee for the main event at the upcoming SummerSlam show. And it's going to be a big historic thing. What was the main event? Off the top of my head, I can't remember. That he
it was Austin, Triple H, and Mick Foley.
Oh, well, there you go. We'll have to review that sometime in the future, just because of the historic, nature of this. Jesse around this time was also getting tons and tons of questions. How are you getting paid? What are you doing with the money? Why are you doing this? You're a sitting governor, and just he's being dragged daily in the press for doing this.
Well, didn't he run as like an independent?
I don't remember.
I feel like he did, and I feel like that was a huge thing. Like no one liked that an independent won that. Yeah,
it was shocking, and it's not like, I mean, he's Jesse the Body Ventura, sure, historic, and he's legendary and all that. But at the same time, you got to think he'd been out of the limelight for a long time with wrestling when he ran and won the governorship. So it's not like it was fresh in everybody's mind. Like, oh yeah, I saw you in the garden.
I think a lot of people remember too that he like literally just sued them like a couple years prior.
Right. Yeah, and Uncle Dave in the Wrestling Observer newsletter made sure to point out all the things that, now that he has a deal signed with WWF, all the about faces on issues that Ventura had been doing in the press. And apparently...
I didn't mean any of it.
Right. Well, apparently he also supposedly got paid about $100,000 that he said he would be donating to charity in full. And I don't know if it came out after that or if Dave was saying that but they were saying it's like, well, he got paid much more than $100,000 to do this. So not all that money's going to charity. But again, speculation, I believe. I haven't seen, anything official about it. Speaking of lawsuits, by the way, the lawsuit filed by Sable against the WWF was officially settled out of court. Both sides agreed to keep the terms confidential and to not badmouth each other in public. The WWF implied that Rena Mero, or Sable, whatever you want to call her, would get no money from them, and that the WWF would continue to own the Sable name. For those of you that didn't listen to the Heatwave 99 episode, Rena Mero sued the WWF for the rights to use the name Sable outside of them when she's no longer under contract, and they said, nah.
Because that makes sense.
Right. Well, her thing was she had signed a Playboy deal as Sable, and if they wouldn't let her use the name Sable, they could not release Playboy as, oh, here's Sable. They had to release it as, here's Rena Mero. and, the name identity just isn't there. And if they did use Sable, then she would have to share some of that Playboy money with the WWF, and she didn't want to do that. But it would appear that that's what happened. She had to, settle, use the name Sable, and then share that money with the WWF. Here's something I wanted to ask you about, because you'd remember more than I probably have seen this show, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. WWF Fully Loaded is in the books, and Uncle Dave said it was the best pay-per-view from any company in months.
Yeah, it was really good. Was that the Rock and Triple H strap match?
Oh hell, I don't know.
I think that was that one.
I should have looked it up, but I don't know.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
think, man, because this show that we're doing is so fresh in my mind right now. So,
right.
Who was the champion at that time?
Oh, shoot.
Austin was. He beat the Undertaker on Raw for it.
Oh,
I think that was a rematch, right? Was that the one? I think that was the one where,
right after King of the Ring.
If he beats Undertaker, Vince McMahon's gone forever, bro.
Gone forever, bro.
But if he loses, he never gets a shot at the title again. If I remember correctly, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a really good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those two matches I remember, but.
Well, Dave had said not much newsworthy out of the show, just really good matches, clean finishes, and well done angles. So take that for what you will. But something historic that did happen.
Dave said it, so I believe it.
Something historic that did happen during the Sunday Night Heat pre-show. Triple H cut a worked shoot promo on Jim Ross. This is where he gets the Game nickname. So
epic promo.
Yeah, pretty historic stuff around this time to keep an eye, to talk about.
Go watch that promo if anyone hasn't. It's amazing.
Yes. Something that it was not historic that just went away during this time. WWF is canceling its Super Astros show, and it will be scrapping the Lucha Libre division entirely.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
What the hell?
I didn't, many people, obviously, didn't even know Super Astros was a thing. I think it was on Univision, but I don't know. Or Univision, if you're white.
I think it was just a partnership.
Yeah. I don't know. It was supposed to be a thing where they used it was a WWF show, but they used AAA talent, and yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. So Bruce Pritchard talked about it a little bit, and he said he was heavily involved because he speaks Spanish and he knows some of the people that ran, or he communicated with people from AAA and stuff like that. So I don't know. Crash Holly debuted this month in WWF.
Hell yeah.
That's huge.
Straight out of APW in my city, Hayward, California.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Oh well. Greg, he was allegedly well over 400 pounds.
I don't know what you mean allegedly. It's clear as day.
That's what I loved. His gimmick was he carried around a scale, and he said, "I'm allegedly well over 400 pounds."
To prove he's over 400 pounds.
Yeah. Good Lord. Stevie Richards also signs with the WWF this month. He would soon come in and do the right to censor crap.
I hated it, but at the same time, looking back at it, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, the gimmick was different. It was the whole thing was a troll. Like they were trolling. There was I think it was PTC.
Yeah, like
Parent Teacher Coalition or something like that. So they were trolling them because they kept up at WWF every week about the content on Raw and SmackDown. Well, not SmackDown during this time,
yeah,
but on Raw. And it was a big thing
because you can't just turn the TV off and tell your kid, don't watch this.
Yeah, don't be a responsible parent and say, quit watching this. Yeah, is it filthy? Sure. But I don't know. I've always been one of them. Like on Facebook. If I don't like it, I just keep scrolling and ignore you. I don't know. That's a forgotten or a lost concept on a lot of people. I
have friends with kids, and I've literally watched them say no, okay, and that's it. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Not write notes. Not go all Karen to. FCC.
Yeah. How dare you let others watch this? Good Lord.
If I don't like it for my kid, no one can like it ever.
Yeah. Well, here's something else that the PTC probably didn't like is that Jerry Lawler is continuing to get a lot more mainstream coverage for his mayoral campaign in Memphis. That's a thing. He ran for mayor.
Why would he even need to be mayor of Memphis? He was king of Memphis. Elvis
exactly. Who? Yeah. Why take a downgrade? But
I guess because you get paid for that, and kings make no money. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. I don't know. Well, he was making plenty of money, yelling puppies every week on Monday nights. So why does he need mayor money? But for those of you, mayor
money's probably little, anyways.
For those of you that didn't listen to the Heatwave 99 episode, he already got dragged in the public for having scantily clad pictures of his then girlfriend, wife, whatever, Stacy, the cat, on his official website. Well, here he's been giving speeches talking about bringing in WWF wrestlers to speak at schools. He's been giving away free WWF tickets to students with good attendance and academic records, and doing things like that. Hey, kids, you want to come watch Sable strip?
Yeah.
I'm done.
This is when wrestling was really hot too, like super, like white hot, like what's the word I'm looking for? White hot.
Yeah, they didn't have to give away anything.
Those tickets were probably hard to come by and very expensive. So people need to realize he was giving out, I'm not going to say gold, but a lot. Yeah.
Oh, he definitely was. Getting to go to Raw was a big deal. Oh, this one, I got some injury news here. Randy Savage injured Evan Courageous with his elbow drop off the top rope, making that the third person in the last few months that he has hurt with that move. Due to Savage's hip and knee problems, he's been landing with a lot more of his weight on his opponent's chest when doing the move, which is leading to guys getting hurt.
Okay, let's start from the top here. Why the hell is Macho Man wrestling Evan Courageous?
I've completely missed that part of the story, but you're right. I might be burying the lead.
I mean, why?
I can't think of one damn good reason. But yeah, this was a confirmed thing at this time. DDP talked about after he took the elbow drop, he peed blood for like a week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so maybe Macho should have...
There was no DDP yoga at them.
Yeah, I know.
I'm also only partially joking when I say that. I mean, there wasn't, but that I've heard is a miracle for like a lot of people. That might have helped them.
Right. I don't know if it's going to help you not pee blood, but yeah.
No, I meant the hip and the back.
Right, yeah. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, Macho Man really should have, like, switched it up a little bit at this point.
Later on, he starts using the double axe handle.
He really should have switched to that. Because I remember Eric Bischoff trolling Hogan. He was like, yeah, maybe if you wouldn't have done that damn leg drop all them years, maybe you'd still have a decent back.
All right. Yeah.
Also, David Finlay, or Fit Finlay, suffered a severe leg injury at a house show, having a piece of table sliced through his leg so deep that you could see the bone, and it severed some tendons. He was bleeding like crazy. God. He was bleeding like crazy and needed surgery, and it was thought to possibly be a career ender. It
kind of was. He doesn't even come back until late 05, early 06 with WWE?
Yeah, and they said he had lingering issues with drop foot because of all that.
Mm.
So that was he switched to the hardcore stuff in WCW, man, and that's what happened. I mean,
which is like stupid because you do that when you have nothing else. This guy's like an amazing wrestler.
Yeah, but he's just an amazing wrestler, Greg. Why we can't sell that?
Yeah, right.
Didn't he come out in like baggy pants and crap at this time too?
I think he started wearing camo pants.
Yeah. Whatever.
So yes, yeah, he did.
Yeah. Conan had a concussion and a neck injury from Shaggy Two Dope from the Insane Clown Posse, doing a leg drop on him from the top rope and landing with his butt right on Conan's head.
And Shaggy's still alive to this day, which means Conan must have been okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Conan, man, I wonder if there was a receipt. That's all I'm wondering of. Well, the reason he might not have killed him at the time, by the way, speaking of Conan, he was arrested as he got off a plane in San Diego for felony charges of threatening a flight attendant during the flight. He was released the next morning on bond.
Wow. I never heard that.
Either had I. So that's why I was like, well, that's different. I'll put that in the news.
When was this?
August of 99.
So the filthy animals are a thing, right?
Yes.
Now that I think about it, when I was watching back 99, he was MIA for a long time, and it just became Mysterio and Kidman.
And we're not talking about the Misfits in action.
No, that's a whole different ball of awesome. But
God, you're being liberal today.
But now I was thinking about it, he was missing for a long time. Like when I say a long time, okay, maybe I'm overdoing it, but like a month or two.
A while, yeah.
Yeah, and okay, I just thought he was hurt. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, he was hurt because of Shaggy, but he also, threatened a flight attendant. So there you go. Chris Jericho's last match in WCW took place at a house show in Peoria, Illinois, because we all want to go out there. Jericho teamed
Did
with
we go there at all?
No.
Okay. I thought maybe we passed through doing our fake hunts. I don't.
Yeah, for all of you that don't know, we went to Survivor Series last year in Chicago, so that's what he's referencing. It was
context is king, pal. Sorry.
God dang it! But Jericho teamed with Eddie Guerrero against Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman, and before the match, he said that he'd leave WCW if he got pinned. So of course he got pinned. So there you go.
I hope he goes on and does some big stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know he always had aspirations of being a musician, so maybe that'll pan out for him. Chris Jericho also made his WWF debut this month during the Rocks promo. So there's that. I guess, he didn't suffer any.
Maybe the greatest debut in history. Maybe.
It's up there. I'll say that for sure. And I love the countdown clock. I love the promo. I love the silly expressions on his face. The crowd blew their crap. Love it. According
to Hugh Morris, Bill DeMott, they were all watching Raw on a monitor in the back at Nitro this night.
Wow.
And they were going crazy for him. And he said a lot of guys were jealous because he got the hell off the sinking ship.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why
I've always liked that story. I'm like, oh, they're at Nitro, they're doing their own show, but screw that. Let's watch the other show in the back and see what Jericho's doing.
Right. It's like, hey, is Jericho doing something tonight?
He's only in the ring with one of their biggest stars. No big deal. But
right. The wrestling documentary, tentatively titled Hitting the Mat, is scheduled to come out in October. It mostly focuses on Mick Foley, Jake Roberts, and Terry Funk. This obviously became Beyond the Mat, which is depressing as all hell, but I think is one of the greatest wrestling documentaries of all time and a must-watch.
Yeah, I think I've seen it twice. It's pretty decent.
I rented it multiple times back when, renting videotapes was a thing.
What's a videotape?
For all of you out there, throw VHS in your Google machine. There you go. Here's something very uncomfortable, man, that has to do with the show. It'll come into play later. On TV, to build up their feud, I don't know if you remember this, Buff Bagwell came out in blackface to cut a promo imitating Ernest Miller.
I remember it because I was doing some research on this show. I'm like, oh, what else was going on? And that's a pick. I was looking up stuff on Bing. And
Bing.
Well,
nice.
I have a Microsoft computer, so it's the default search engine. I saw that. I'm like, what the hell? And then I had to go watch the clip, realizing I'd already seen the clip, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Right. It's honestly sad that we didn't think much about it at the time.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I don't look at it at the time. I didn't think much of it. Now looking at it, I understand what it is now.
Right. Well,
you don't think about stuff like that when you're watching it, though. I mean, years ago.
Right. Well, apparently some people did think about it because backstage, Ernest Miller was legitimately furious about it, and it became a tense situation. These two ended up getting into a fight pretty soon thereafter.
I'm gonna put 1,000 on the cat.
How dare you? Buff is the stuff.
I know he's Bischoff's one of Bischoff's best friends, but man, he talks him up like he's an absolute killer. And
killer? Yeah.
And I don't disbelieve him either, but
hey, he's a real life karate man. I mean, that's legit. Apparently, for those who don't know, he was Garrett Bischoff's karate teacher.
Yeah, taught him how to kick bullies' asses. So there you go.
Right, there you go. Here's the last bit of news here. ECW is getting a ton of mainstream publicity leading into their debut on TNN this month. Entertainment Weekly had a story on ECW with a picture of Spike Dudley going through a flaming table. Because why not? The story talked about ECW being more brutal than WWF and WCW. Eric Bischoff was quoted in the story saying, quote, "If they bring that formula to TNN and TNN doesn't discipline itself, I think wrestling in general will suffer." Well, god dang, get that man a crystal ball.
I think it lasts about 1 year. So,
right, yeah.
So he's not wrong.
Well, as Jim Cornette would say, well, wouldn't you look who won the pony?
I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic. When I think of ECW, that's what I think of. A flaming table.
Yeah.
Because that's wrestling.
I think of New Jack with a shopping cart full of garbage, but
wow. I go a little bit more when I think of New Jack. I think of like a staple gun in his hand, but you know,
God.
I'm sure that gun is in that thing full of garbage. So,
and a real gun at that.
All right.
Here's the final thing. ECW caught a lot of heat this month for a tasteless promo that Joel Gertner, paused for shock, cut about the recent death of John F. Kennedy Jr., who died in a plane crash in the ocean a week or so before this frickin' promo. Gertner's promo included jokes about the size of JFK Jr.'s cockpit and joked that the plane crashed because he was having a mid-air threesome with the other two women on the plane. He also joked about Ted Kennedy's drinking and his 1969 Chappaquiddick incident. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Google it.
Or don't.
And he ended the promo by saying that if JFK Jr. could talk right now, he'd say glub, glub, glub.
Wow.
That's just...
Mm-hmm. And this is the filth that people still chant for.
The promo aired on most of the TV shows, though it was edited out of the NYC syndicated show.
Oh, God. We don't, just don't offend them.
Yeah, everyone else, F you. Look, I have laughed multiple times at Joel Gertner. I've loved his promos in the past, filthy or not, but this, why?
The innuendos are funny.
Yeah, but this, why? What the hell? What tickets were you selling with this?
Was this on TNN too?
I think it was right before they went on TNN.
And they still got to go on TNN.
Yeah. Why didn't TNN see that and was like, nope, ripping up that contract now? Gosh. Yeah, well, that does it for the news and notes, Greg. Now it's time, I think.
So last week we depressed everybody with racism and porn. This week we depressed them with someone making fun of someone's death. That's nice. We're doing our part.
Well, and more racism, Greg. Don't leave that out.
Well, that's coming.
Well, the blackface.
Well, right, but I mean,
so there you go.
Well,
there's more.
Yeah, don't worry.
If you're all worried that the racism is over on this podcast, buckle in. I think it's time, though, that we dive into...
just for future reference, we need to cover a top quality show because I think we're depressing people.
Well, I mean, I think we covered some good stuff last week.
Oh, yeah,
but
definitely.
The news wasn't so great, but...
okay, maybe it's not about shows. Maybe it's about picking shows in better eras.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to find something somewhere along the line. I don't know. Well, that does it for the news and notes. We will be back with Road Wild 1999 on the other side of this real quick break.
We'll return after these messages. Now, back to our program.
All right, Greg, do you think it's time to dive into the actual event at hand we're covering today?
Oh, we got more to go? I thought we were done.
Oh, I know. I thought we hit it. I thought we hit our peak with Gertner talking about the death of JFK Jr.
Let's do this.
All right.
If we have anybody left, thank you for sticking around.
Yeah, we appreciate your, well, I can't say patronage because you're not paying for anything, but, you're paying for it with your time and your sanity, maybe. But here we go, man. If you really want to hear about Road Wild 1999, because why wouldn't you?
Right.
August 14th, 1999, it took place at the Sturgis Rally and Race in Sturgis, South Dakota. The attendance was unofficially, or I guess unofficially, 5,500, and they made a whopping $0 at the gate because not a damn person paid to get in there. Bischoff,
I think that's one of the biggest fails of doing this crap.
Right. Well, Bischoff said he considered it a lost leader because he said, well, if we pander to the motorcycle crowd and this and that, it helps us get sponsorships that we can promote to them. And I don't think it panned out all that well. I mean, maybe Pennzoil. That was about it.
Pennzoil's from the NASCAR thing.
All right. Well, there you go. So this did nothing. They were hoping to get like beer sponsorships and stuff, and it never happened.
That makes sense.
Right. And well, he talked about that, and it never came to fruition. So he did 3 of these turds for nothing.
Was it 3?
3 or 4?
I think it's 4. 96, 97, 98, 90. Yeah, it's 4.
Okay. So, you're making my point even worse.
Right.
But anyway, about this, I'm sorry, the buy rate. The buy rate was 200,000 buys, which translated to 0.55.
God, that's actually not bad for this crap.
Who looked at this? Maybe the build up to the main event, but I just can't see looking at this card and going, God dang, I got to give them my money.
Well, hey, Nash's last match ever, dude.
Yeah. Spoilers. All right. God.
Okay, hold on. His possible last match ever. There.
Yeah. Right. And Hogan's possible last match ever. But anyway. But about this show, Uncle Dave said that.
I only saw 5 of those. But...
Right. Uncle Dave had said that nearly every match was bad. The crowd of non-wrestling fans sucked. The atmosphere sucked. And so on and so forth. Basically, it looked like a cheap indie show. And of course, the company made no money off the event since it's free for everyone in Sturgis at the bike rally. Meaning that WCW left a good $200,000 to $300,000 on the table in gate money, which is a terrible decision for a company that's facing a massive decline in revenue already.
Because why not?
I can't
beer sponsors.
Well, right, and I can't sit here and say, I never like pump up Uncle Dave and he's right and whatever. But I mean, it's hard to really sit here and disagree with anything he just said.
Honestly, when you were talking about his review of the show as a whole, I'm like looking at the date and the time right now. I'm like, mark it down. The day I fully agree with Dave Meltzer has finally come. Holy hell.
Right. This is something, man.
Well,
and the opening,
even a blind squirrel, right?
Well, he is a nut. The opening promo package to me just showed that Hulk Hogan threw the weakest chair shots in history. Did you notice that? He was like,
now that you mention it,
he was like dinking everybody. He wasn't even like, don't get me wrong. I don't want him to go ahead and just full on blast someone in the head, ECW style.
You're making a sound, but okay.
Yeah, but he just walked up and was like, and half of them look like padded chairs too. He'd walk up and be like, bink. I'm like, hot damn, that chair shot couldn't break an egg. It just looked terrible. Also, Tony Schiavone looks like a complete douchebag.
Oh, you're gonna get one of our listeners to pop for that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, am I wrong? He's wearing he's wearing the old Triple H leather hat backwards.
He looked like he was trying to be a biker. Hold on, let me rephrase this. He looked like he was trying to be a part of a cool biker gang and misdressed for it.
He looked like somebody's dad at the barbecue. Like, I don't know, all I can think of is Wild Hogs.
Yeah.
Love
that movie, by the way, but
yeah, very underrated movie. William H. Macy's character, where he got the Apple logo tattooed on him.
Oh yes.
That's what he looked like to me. And of course, his chair was jacked all the way up, so he looked like he was like Andre sitting next to everybody. Mother of God. That was something Conrad started pointing out. He was like, you ever notice that? His chair was all jacked up.
According to rumor and innuendo, he wanted that.
Well, yeah, he always wanted to look taller than everybody else. I don't know why, but this first match, man, this is where... I'll just tell you what the match is first. Vampiro and the Insane Clown Posse of Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. They had Raven in their corner. They were the Deadpool at the time. They took on the team of Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and Billy Kidman. And it went on for just shy of 12 and a half freaking minutes, which I was not prepared for.
And I believe Conan was joining the Mile High Club at this time.
Yeah, probably. This is where a friend of the show, Ramon, I told him we were reviewing this show. He said, I'll go watch it. Because I told him, I said, I was about halfway through the show, and I was like, there are similar finishes to like 3 different matches on the card. And he's like,
and I was going to use that later, but okay.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. But that was what I hyped to him, and he was like, I got to see this for myself. And he sent me a message that says, turns on Road Wild 1999, sees Insane Clown Posse in the first match, turns off Road Wild 1999.
Oh man.
So
okay. On that, by the way, like you're going to start out a show that's nothing but bikers, and you're going to bring out the Insane Clown Posse to start the show.
In their defense, I
want to hear this.
I saw a few juggalos in the crowd. I don't know.
Did you, or did someone pay them to wear this stuff and they, hey, just look like this?
Hey, they appealed to various demographics, I guess.
And like you always tell me, hey, $20 is $20.
What the hell? God dang it. First thing I noticed when they came out, the WWE obviously only had to pay pennies on the dollar to license ICP's actual music for this entrance because they didn't dub it over. They're still using, if anybody knows any ICP music, cares at all, or just, for factoids or whatever, it was Take It by Insane Clown Posse was what the Deadpool used.
Well, they made that for WCW.
Oh, really? Oh, I did not.
It's on their Mayhem album. That song was made specifically for WCW.
Well, that makes more sense. It blows my mind, by the way, that Mike Tenay is sitting there spitting out ICP facts on commentary.
Well, he is the professor, and I use this loosely, are wrestlers, or at least promoters, right? Did they have at the time?
I think. Or they were about to. One of the two. But, yeah, it's funny hearing Mike Tenay. He's like, well, guys, they're wearing these jerseys with Jack and Jake Jekyll on them. They're from their new album. I'm like, God dang it, Mike. What the hell?
Because when I think of the ICP album, I think of Mike Tenay.
Yeah, and he's just spitting out all this stuff. I'm like, sure. I'm sure you can tell us, like, what your favorite song is, right, Mike? I also said this to... Well, these are two notes that me and Ramon came up with talking about the match. Rey Mysterio is the Cruiserweight champion here, right?
Right.
No championship. No title around his waist.
Well, would you want to bring gold to Sturgis? Which you had to?
Yeah, I guess not. I also said he looks like Baby Joker from Next Friday. You get it.
I do.
Vampiro does most of the work for his team. The match ends with Billy Kidman hitting Shaggy 2-Dope with a shooting star press for the pinfall victory. I can't believe those words left my mouth. Uncle Dave gave this 2.5 stars. I gave it 1.5.
I gave it 1. I was like, oh, man. I almost wanted to give it 2 because I love Kidman and Mysterio. But that's not enough for me to bump it up. Sorry. So
there wasn't anything like botched and crappy or anything, but it was just blah. It was so boring. I don't know. And this is a theme we're going to see later. The commentators, like, anytime ICP hit, like, an actual wrestling move, they popped like it was a finisher. Like, wow, they can really wrestle.
Yeah, if you call that wrestling, sure.
We'll see that later. We'll get into it. But next match, real wrestlers here.
The Jersey Triad team of Canyon and Bam Bam Bigelow.
They're defending the WCW Tag Team Championships, playa. Against ironic that I said it that way, but against the Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray, who just reformed Harlem Heat. And this match went just over 13 minutes. In the end, here's another recurring theme. DDP runs down. He's the third member of the Triad, by the way. He runs down.
The third man.
He hops on the apron. Stevie Ray throws Bam Bam Bigelow into DDP. Bam Bam staggers, and Booker T nails a missile drop kick, allowing Stevie effing Ray to pin him for the win. Uncle Dave gave it 1 star. I gave it 1.5. The match kind of sucked.
I gave it a 1 as well.
Yeah, this was
not to jump ahead. We're going to see a reoccurring theme with these numbers. Anyways.
Yes, I just many reoccurring themes on the show. That match was just, I expected more from these guys. Not, well,
I mean, if DDP had been in this, it probably would have got another star, maybe.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, I expected more out of 3 out of 4 of these men. Stevie Ray, I expect absolutely nothing ever from him. And you know what, Greg? I'm never left disappointed.
No, you're not.
Yeah, so
he may even over deliver at times too.
Yeah, because I expected nothing, I was given nothing, and yeah. Oh gosh! Speaking of expecting,
Stevie Ray's greatest moments ever will be him entering the arena and talking to the camera as he's walking down the ramp. That's going to be his legacy. I'm sorry.
Wow, I only vaguely remember that.
That's what he did that in all their entrances. He would yell into the camera as the camera was like walking with him.
And then Booker would accidentally drop the N-word.
Right.
That's just anyway. The next,
you know what though? He was there to make Booker T shine, and Booker's the 6-time champ and a 2-time Hall of Famer. So there you go.
Right.
Job done.
Yeah. Well, okay. I gotta ask your opinion on this because they said this on commentary. They said that Harlem Heat was the tag team of the 90s.
They beat that to death.
Yeah, they did. I mean, do you agree though, or?
I'll say this. I think they had the longest tenure of any team in the 90s, and I'm being liberal with this, all 3 big companies.
Yeah.
So maybe they were because of that.
I think, as far as WCW goes, absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as all 3 companies, I'd really have to think about it. There's
not many teams that had longevity in the 90s like them.
That's true. So, I mean, they might be right. Unless you're talking like late 90s into 2000s, but that doesn't cover the whole decade.
That would become the New Age Outlaws, but
yeah, New Age Outlaws, and then I would say the Dudleys, but Dudleys are more late 90s, early 2000s, I think, is when they really flourished. But man, you want to talk about expecting nothing and getting it, man. Up next, we got a 6-man tag match between the West Texas Rednecks team of Kurt Hennig, Barry Windham, and Bobby Duncombe Jr. They had Kendall Windham with them. They took on the Revolution, which was Shane Douglas, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko. The match went just shy of 11 minutes. They start off the match with, I guess they didn't know which Rednecks they'd be facing, so all 4 of them came down, and then Perry Saturn was like, hey, pick 3 and get in the ring. We'll beat all your asses.
I got to pause and laugh at you said which rednecks they'd be facing.
Well, I mean, they could be talking about the people in Sturgis as well. By the way, I think
you might be a redneck.
I think the West Texas Rednecks were effing over in Sturgis. By the way,
dude, I would argue they're over everywhere. Go back and watch some of their stuff when they come out. People are cheering and singing the song and stuff when they come out. That's it.
Yeah, but they had to put an end to it because it was supposedly racist to say that rap was crap.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong, but
they added. Well, that's if you're saying that rap is only for one skin color.
I didn't say all that. I just meant I like the genre, but
yeah, well, it's like I think it's like, how is it racist? I mean, yeah, they put them up against teams who genuinely like rap.
Well, they bring in the No Limit Soldiers, who are like they're all black guys, and the West Texas Rednecks are all white guys, and they're saying, "Hey, your music's crap." Yeah, I can see how they got that, definitely.
Yeah,
but
this was going on for
the premise. But
by the way, I didn't know this. Swole is no longer with the company, by the way, because he was arrested for owing like a crap ton in back child support.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's that little tidbit for you.
I always thought Swole was Ice Train.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I mean, okay, let's pause. And it's not because they're both huge, like buff, African American guys. I just thought it was the same guy because he hadn't seen Ice Train in years.
Yeah.
He just like disappeared. And then he came back as Smooth or M.I. Smooth. Like, okay, it's not him. Okay.
Yeah. Because we all missed Ice Train.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just,
right, yeah.
I know. That's what he's doing now.
Yeah, unfortunately. Kendall Windham gets involved multiple times in this match, breaking stuff up with his cowbell behind the referee's back. Saturn eventually pins Duncombe with a Death Valley driver. The Rednecks get into a bit of a post-match scuffle with the Revolution before being chased off. Uncle Dave gave this 3/4 of a star. I gave it 2. What say you?
I gave it 2. I didn't hate. I didn't like it, but it was not one like, oh God, let's just fast forward. It was another one of those. But it was
okay.
It dragged, but
right. Yeah, it was okay to sit through for a few minutes.
Okay, let me also put it like this. This is the match of the night so far.
Yeah, that's not saying much. Well, if you want to up the ante of everything, man, Ernest the Cat Miller and Sonny Ono come out next looking like complete douchebags in their leather motorcycle riding gear. I think this Bobby Heenan.
Second, they look like douchebags comment of the podcast. Let's give me more we can get.
Yeah, it's coming. Well, I think it was Bobby Heenan said that Sonny Ono looked like he was about to land on an aircraft carrier.
What?
Because he looked like a leather-clad pilot.
I missed that comment.
Oh, yeah, okay. He said he looks like he's about to land on the Intrepid or something like that. Wow. I laughed. By the way, Miller is wearing Rebel flag fingerless gloves.
Okay.
Take a pause for that for a moment. Ramon texted me and went, "Holy crap, Cat's gloves."
Can we just point out for those who might not know, Ernest Miller is a black man.
He is definitely black.
We'll put that. You do what you want with that, but he was wearing Rebel flag. There you go.
And he would hold his hands up so you could plainly see them in front of his face. For Cat's pre-match promo.
Okay, I mean, he's probably appealing. Oh God, this could be very stereotypical. He's probably trying to appeal to the audience there. To be fair, I mean,
well, he was healing it up, so I don't think he was trying to appeal to anyone.
Well, that's all I can think of. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, for Cat's pre-match promo, I don't know if you missed this. I think he had to ask David Penzer where the hard cam was.
I saw him gesture to him.
Yeah, well, because he goes over and he yells something to Penzer, and then Penzer motions towards the camera like it's over there. I'm like, wow. Oh, gosh. The motorcycles are revving up too much, not letting Miller speak. They did this earlier to Canyon, by the way. And
so they don't like black people and gay people. Just, okay.
Hey, in their defense, at the time, we didn't know Canyon was gay. I don't know if that's a defense, but there you go.
Just real quick, why would you go here and have black wrestlers here? Okay,
Hey, to this day, Eric Bischoff does not believe that any of them were racist, and he got mad.
T on his podcast flat out said every single one of them were calling him the N-word when he was walking out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Bischoff claims that was only a couple people, and it wasn't a widespread thing. And he got mad at Conrad for implying that, well, maybe the Harlem Heat would have got over more if they were white.
He's not wrong there. I mean,
yeah. So Bischoff denies it to this day, but I don't know. But anyway, speaking of douchebags, Buff Bagwell, he comes out.
I liked him, so screw you.
Apparently, you and Ramon both did. I never ever saw the appeal of Buff Daddy. I just didn't. I feel like we were.
Yeah, he and I were just talking. This must have been why this came up. Yeah, it is actually. Now thinking about it. I don't know. I feel like he had that it factor.
I don't know. He was somewhat entertaining. He was different, kind of. But I don't know. I kind of wanted to see the blockbuster, and then I wanted him to get the hell out of the way so I could see Steiner. That's really all I cared about with him.
I wanted him out of the way so I can see Steiner.
As a kid, I liked Scott Steiner. I kind of like him as an adult, but I don't know.
I was at Super Brawl when he turned, and that's when I started hating his guts forever, and I never liked him after.
Well,
I mean, points for him being a Michigan guy, but
No, F off with that one. That's the thing I hate the most about his ham cube loving ass. The Cat keeps trying to talk, and the motorcycles keep revving. Buff finally grabs the mic and says, "You're not a crowd favorite, if you know what I mean."
Yeah. What were we just talking about?
Yeah. So anyway, that happened.
Also on this, by the way, I liked the Cat too, man. I thought he was hilarious.
I never got into him either.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
I just thought the dancing and the over the top with the James Brown music, I don't know. There's something about it. I liked it. I laughed, and I thought he was a really good wrestler too.
As a kid, I don't know. I just cared about the top guys mostly. I mean, there were a few underneath guys that I liked, like Eddie. What the hell? But to the actual match here, Ernest Cat Miller with Sonny Ono in his corner taking on Buff Bagwell. They went about 7.5 minutes. The crowd chants "Pussycat" at Miller for quite a while.
Probably the nicest thing. The nicest thing they could have chanted at him, probably.
Yeah. Well, someone in the crowd has a trombone, and they blow it every now and then with a big move. Did you notice that?
I did. I was like, are vuvuzelas a thing yet?
Yeah, I was like, was young. Well, it's at Sturgis, so I can definitively say no. But otherwise, I'd be like, is a young Xavier Woods in the crowd?
Wow.
But yeah, every time, like somebody would do a leapfrog.
He's in Atlanta and getting a PhD, being smarter than all of us. So.
Right. Well. Yeah. Well, it was funny because somebody would hit a leapfrog and you'd hear. I was like, holy crap. I just wanted somebody to yell out, "Tricep meat." But to the actual match here we go again. In the end, Ono gets on the apron. Buff throws the cat into him and then rolls the cat up with the worst O'Connor roll I've ever seen and gets the win. By the way, before the show, or I'm sorry, let me wrap this up. After the match,
it's over already? I love this match.
After the match, Miller beat Buff down, and then Sonny Ono mocked Buff's dance and pose. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I gotta be real with you. The highlight of the match for me.
Yeah, Sonny Ono.
I laughed so hard.
I know, a short little dumpy Asian dude in leather, trying to look like a biker, doing Buff's dance and then posing. I laughed out loud so hard with that. I'm like, damn it, Sonny. But before the show, apparently Bagwell and Miller got into a backstage fight over what the finish of their match would be. Bagwell was originally booked to lose, but threw a fit, complaining that he had been left laying on TV in the last few weeks, and he should go over. It escalated, and Bagwell tried to slap Miller, which led to Miller landing 2 solid punches to Bagwell's face, and then getting tied up on the ground by Miller until they were broken up. Bagwell's right elbow and forearm got scraped up in the fall. Apparently, you can visibly see it during the match. I wasn't paying attention.
I just don't understand why you would test a 3-time world karate champion.
Well, because if anybody hurts Buff, they're going to have to deal with Judy. You don't want to deal with Judy.
Former tag team champion.
Exactly. On a forklift. Uncle Dave gave this a dud. I gave it 1.5 stars. What do you say?
I want to know where the hell you get your half star from. I mean, this is...
Maybe 1. Looking back at it.
I wanted to give this a 0, but I don't believe in giving matches a 0 unless they don't ever happen. So I said 1, but man, this was just a mess.
It was booty. Well, it gets better. It really does. I swear it does. I mean, not a ton better, but it gets better.
Yeah, but getting better after this? I mean, Melina versus Alicia Fox is probably better than this. My gosh. You said that. Well, up next, we got Chris Benoit defending the United States Championship in a no disqualification match against Diamond Dallas Page. The match went 12 minutes, 14 seconds. This whole feud has been built up on DDP claiming that Chris Benoit just doesn't have what it takes to be a top guy, and DDP constantly doing Yo Mama jokes on Benoit. I mean, not literal Yo Mama, but, I mean, basically. I mean, did I miss anything in this feud? I'm trying to remember how it started. Well, that's what this whole feud, at least the promo package and the commentary, that's what it was built on. Well, this is when DDP was going through his change and all of a sudden was trying to be, I don't know, like they were trying to channel DX or something. Well, all he did was insult Benoit's mother repeatedly, week in, week out. And speaking of which, when he gets to the ring, DDP that is, he apologizes to Benoit. Pal. He apologizes to Benoit for talking bad about his mom and says, "I know you love your mother, but so can anyone else for $2.99 and holy crap,
$2.99 a minute." Excuse me, and then he makes a phone signal with his hand. Mean Gene's offended. God, Scheme Gene. That's my 900 number. How dare you? Damn it! How dare you sully the good name of my 900 line? Oh my gosh, but this was just the. At one point, DDP slapped Charles Robinson and took his belt because he freaking could. It's no disqualification, pal. He has Benoit in the Tree of Woe, and he whipped him with the belt repeatedly. DDP repeatedly tries to hang Benoit, and that made me a little uncomfortable. I mean,
I didn't even piece that together until just now.
Yeah, he wrapped the belt around his neck, and then he hung him. And I went, oh, God, it's rough. But anyway, the Revolution root for Benoit in the back, watching a monitor, while Bam Bam Bigelow runs in, and he splashes Benoit off the top rope for a near fall. Again, Kanyon gets on the freaking apron. Benoit forces him to collide with Bam Bam, and then into DDP. And then Benoit hits a flying headbutt on DDP, and he gets the win. Uncle Dave said that this was the only good match on the entire show, and he gave it 3 1/4 stars. I gave it 3. What do you say?
I gave it 3 as well. Loved it.
Yeah. That ending, though. I mean, am I wrong? This was the 3rd time we've seen it gets up on the apron and collides with someone. For God's sake.
Like a staple.
Yeah, it's like it was comical at this point. I'm like, every effing match, somebody gets on the apron, somebody else hits him, he gets rolled up for the win. At least this one he actually hit his
a
finisher.
Motorcycle revs. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Hey, nobody's looking at us.
You sound like Cartman when he was getting eaten by global warming.
Oh my gosh. I always think of the South Park episode where, I'm not going to say what they called the bikers, but they thought they were referring to gay people, but they said, no, we'd never call gay people that. That's what we call the motorcycle guys that come through town.
What the hell?
And the motorcycle guys would come through town.
Like
and everybody hated the motorcycle guys because they would come through town once a year and like be super loud and disturb everybody. And they were sitting in a diner and they're like, nobody's looking at us. We need to do something. And then one guy's like,
I remember that part. They come through town. I remember that.
Yeah. And they spray painted, and the kids spray painted "Go Home," on a wall. And the gay people in town were like, I thought we were over this. And they're like, no, we don't mean you. We're talking about the motorcycle guys. And then they passed an actual bill that word would only refer to motorcycle riders.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the South Park, guys. It's on HBO Max if all of you get it. So there's that. Chad Diabani, who I never heard of in my life, is with a bunch of biker chicks, and he gives away an American Iron Horse motorcycle in a contest. It goes to Darnell Potter of Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, Cleveland!
Wow.
Got a rep for my state.
Yeah, the old Cleveland biker gang. Is that a thing?
I think they're more Italian, but I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Up next, Sid Vicious versus Sting. This goes for 10 minutes, 40 seconds. Sid Vicious just took the name the Millennium Man. And by the way, it sounds like WWE Network kept his actual theme in.
Yeah, for a couple of things they didn't edit it out. I'm guessing just someone missed it.
Yeah. I was glad. I loved his WCW theme.
Honestly, the one they dub in is not bad. It just doesn't fit him.
Yeah, I haven't heard it, so I'll have to go back.
Look it up on YouTube. Just Sid WWE Network dub theme. So it's not that bad.
I'm shocked they don't dub in his WWE theme.
Yeah, right.
But Sid was apparently on an undefeated streak since coming back to WCW. We'll talk about that more in a minute. This was a decent match. I felt Sid was nearly no-sells a superplex. He gets up and he stumbles to the corner. Sting tries for a stinger splash, but gets caught by the throat, and Sid hits a chokeslam for a clean win. The announcers, by the way, repeatedly claim that Sid has a winning streak that rivaled Goldberg's old streak, and Uncle Dave pointed out that he doesn't know what they were smoking. He said, for starters, almost every TV match that Sid had has, since coming back, has ended in a DQ, and he's been losing nearly every match since he's wrestled on the house shows. So he only wins on TV. And he said,
that counts.
Yeah. And I guess he also noted with the internet becoming so popular in 1999, people aren't being fooled by commentary bullcrap anymore. Uncle Dave gave this 1.5 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average. What do you say?
I said 2 only because I thought it got fun towards the last part.
Yeah. I don't think it was a bad match. And, I thought it was fun at the beginning because they battled all around the ring.
Not to jump ahead, but Sting is literally going to go from this to the world title and turning heel the next month.
Wow. Jobbing out clean to Sid Vicious at Road Wild.
He must be doing this as a huge favor because he's about to hit gold with the title. No pun intended. But with a horrible heel turn, too. So that part is stupid. But
yeah. Well, something that didn't hit gold up next. It was Rick Steiner versus Goldberg. This one went on for just over 5.5 minutes. Pretty straightforward match.
Can I go back on everything I ever said and just say 0 out of the gate?
What the hell? A pretty straightforward match. Steiner dominated early in the match, ripping off Goldberg's knee brace, and then he used it as a weapon. But the commentator said, "Well, it's not no DQ, but it's legal because Goldberg brought it into the match." Who cares? Doesn't mean you can take it off and beat somebody with it.
That's why Hollywood Hogan got to beat everyone with his weight belt all those years. Now I get it.
I guess so.
Now I get it.
Right, yeah, because they never disqualified him for smacking people with a weight belt. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna wear a chair around my neck into the match.
Wow.
I guess that'll work. Okay, if you wear it into the ring, therefore you can use it. Why do they hide brass knuckles in their trunks? Right. Just pull them out and be like, "Hey, I had them on me."
Hey, that still applies to this day, right? Because Bianca Belair always uses her hair, so.
The hair thing I can get behind because it's like, all right, it's literally a part of her.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, it's extensions, whatever, but still. So the end of this match, out of nowhere, Goldberg just nailed a spear. I was not expecting it. It was just like, oh, there's a spear. And then a jackhammer. Then he wins. Uncle Dave gave it 1 1/4 star. I gave it 2 stars for below average. What do you say?
God, I love Goldberg, you know that, but man, this match was atrocious.
It was boring.
I gave it 1 star. And I just part of me wanted to say 0. I see a match like this and I start thinking, okay, now I see why I can give a 0 and it'd be fair.
Wow.
It was terrible.
It was very blah.
Now, this is coming from someone who will try to find the good in any Goldberg match, but yeah.
Yeah, it was something, man. I'll say that.
I only give it a 1 because, Michigan. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. Real proud of that.
Why are we friends? How are we friends?
There was this commercial years ago that showed a guy in a Michigan sweater and his girlfriend in an Ohio State sweater, and they were making out, and it said, "This wouldn't be gross without sports."
Wow, yeah, right.
Like, well, if anything ever happens between me and my wife, I will never date a Michigan fan. I mean, I lowered my standards by dating and marrying a Bengals fan, but we get over that. Either way, something
about that would be more, honestly. I mean, because it's twice a year versus once a year.
Yeah, but it's not that heated.
In the era that we're in, that except for this coming year, I really believe, that Ohio's going to win. So,
yeah, Ohio State is not going to lose. It's just it's kind of a foregone conclusion.
No, this is the year. This is the year. I'm telling you.
You said that the last 2 years.
I was joking.
Okay. Well,
third time's a charm. Okay, I was just trying to make you feel better. Now
all right,
foot on throat this year.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why you like the Harbaugh brothers. They suck.
I don't like the Harbaugh brothers. It's just my dad was from Michigan, so it's a family loyalty thing. So
yeah. Well, this next match, man, talk about lowering standards. Dennis Rodman versus Macho Man Randy Savage went for 11.5 minutes. This feud was built on Dennis Rodman sneak attacking Randy Savage and then kidnapping Gorgeous George, his girlfriend. When Savage got her back, he swore to take care of Rodman before allowing George to ever come back to WCW. So, help me out here, because you were watching at the time, right?
That's not something I brag about, but yeah.
Okay. I was under the impression that Savage was a heel. He was a heel.
Well, actually, going into this, I believe Rodman's the face, believe it or not.
Rodman, I thought, was a heel.
Going into this match, he was kind of like the face.
See, again, I thought he was a heel. And he kidnapped his girlfriend. Who does that?
Well, she was a stripper, and Rodzilla likes strippers. What do you not get about that?
Oh, my gosh. I
wish I was joking.
Hey, this made no sense.
Is global warming eating you again?
And he was definitely the heel in this. Well, before the match starts, Rodman asks Macho Man, "Where's my B? I'll clean it up." And then Macho Man had the line of the night, I think. He said, "Tonight, you're my B." I loved it. Every move that Rodman... This was the time where I really noticed this, by the way. Every move that Rodman does, the announcers pop like it's a finisher. Like, my God, he's for real. Did you notice that?
I mean, I did, but I didn't notice it's Rodman. But yeah,
it's
he slammed up. What a suplex!
Yeah, every move that Rodman did, they were like, "Holy crap, he did that to perfection!" Like, did he though? But yeah, this is where I made the most. This match, I made the most notes on, just because of all the stuff that happened. Try to keep up, people.
I just wanted this match to end, but okay.
At one point, Rodman intentionally takes out referee Billy Silverman, and he's replaced by Mickey J. Keep in mind, this is not no DQ, by the way.
Mickey Henson.
Yeah. Macho Man then knocks out the WCW magazine editor. Or no, I'm sorry. He knocked out the magazine editor and then uses his camera as a weapon, I believe. Or I don't know. And then he knocked out Mickey J. And then he knocked out referee Scott Dickinson. Rodman gets thrown into a porta potty by Macho Man, and then Savage tips it over while the commentary is just retching, almost vomiting over this. Later, Rodman, and that was probably not the dirtiest place Rodman had been in a 24-hour period.
I would say in that day.
Yeah. Later, Rodman accidentally takes out a fourth referee with a flying clothesline. Gorgeous George now comes down because now we can cheat. Gorgeous George
got all the specifics out of the way.
Yeah, right. She comes down and she hands Savage a chain. Before leaving, she kicks Rodman in his worm.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't get the reference, his basketball nickname was The Worm, and they pump that up on commentary as well. They even announce him when he's coming out as one of the top rebounders in the history of the National Basketball Association. Okay. Savage then nails a punch with a chain-wrapped fist, and he pins Rodman for the win, because Rodman was not taking that effing elbow drop. Rodman's on-again, off-again ex-wife, Carmen Electra, was supposed to be there for the finish, but I guess they're off again, so Savage's girlfriend, Gorgeous George, did the spot instead. Whatever. It's just blah. Uncle Dave gave this 1 1/4 star. I gave it 2.5 for average, because I thought it was kind of fun. What do you say?
I gave it 2 only because I'm not going to say enjoyed it, but I had some chuckles.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I enjoyed it. I don't want to say that, but
it was a fun garbage match. I'll say that. And it's just they were building up Savage as the most dangerous man in professional wrestling and all of sports, the most dangerous man. Look at him. He's knocking out referees. Did that go? Did that really go anywhere?
No, I think he's gone after this, and we don't see him again until the New Blood.
Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure he's gone. And it's only for 30 seconds at the end of an episode of Thunder, and then we never see him again.
Good Lord.
I think, I'm going to have to think about it, but I think this is his last WCW match ever.
Damn.
I mean, what a way to go out, right?
Right. Hey, you beat Dennis Rodman on pay-per-view. How many people can say that? Let's move on to the main event, shall we? Wait,
I thought this was the main event.
Yeah, main event anywhere in the world, man.
We'll return after these messages. Now, back to our program.
The main event of the night, what we all came to see, but nobody paid to see, was Hulk Hogan.
When I was a kid, this is why I wanted to watch this, to be fair. So I got to be honest.
Okay, I take it back. Anybody on pay-per-view did pay to see this. Anybody there in person, nobody paid to see this. This was Hulk Hogan back in the red and yellow. He finally turned the corner. He was the good guy again. He was been putting it over strong on TV as Hollywood Hogan. And then he finally came out. Wasn't it a 6-man tag like him, Goldberg, and Sting?
Yeah, against Sid, Steiner, and Nash. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. That event, he came out. He was the last person to come out. They hit American Made, which Cody Rhodes claims is better than Real Americans, so I can't trust anything Cody says now. That hits.
You feeling okay?
Yeah, I love you, Cody, but no. But that music hits, the red and yellow lights go crazy. He comes out in his old gear, ripping the shirt and everything. So he's back to the old Hulk. No more Hollywood.
That was one of the greatest moments in the history of Nitro.
The greatest night in the history of our great sport. He's defending the WCW World's Heavyweight Championship against Kevin Nash in a loser must retire match. This went for 12 minutes, 18 seconds. Ramon pointed this out, that Nash comes out rocking a very Diesel-like attire. He's even got his old Diesel vest on.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, this is his possible retirement match, so, you know.
Well, yeah, gotta get in the mode. Hogan gets busted open at one point. I missed it. Where? He's not bleeding real bad, just a little bit of blood, but it's there. Hogan gets a bit of shine in the beginning, but Nash lays the heat in for quite a while, dominating Hogan. He then manages to hit a jackknife powerbomb, but Hogan kicks out. Hogan then hulks up for the first time in years. Big boot, leg drop. That's all she wrote for Kevin Nash. A crap ton of fireworks blow for the win. No one took this stipulation seriously, and even Mark Madden on the WCW hotline called this a loser gets time off match. Uncle Dave gave this thing a dud. I gave it 1.5 stars, just to be polite. What say you?
I gave it 1.
This match sucked.
It was bad.
Bad. Terrible. Worst ever. It was just, I'm like, you guys put this on pay-per-view. Don't get me wrong, the name value and the stipulations, bro, they alone were good enough. But the match itself, man, just no. It was booty.
We'll return after these messages. Now, back to our program.
But the final rating of the show, man, IMDb gave this a 5.9 out of 10. CageMatch.net was super harsh. They gave it a 2.57 out of 10. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. What say you?
I gave it like a 3, man. I thought it was an F.
F minus.
Yeah, this show sucked so much ass.
This may be the worst show we've reviewed.
What do you mean, maybe? It's like, no question it is. Not even, it's not, there's not even a competition.
I don't want to just turn people off from it. Maybe.
Yeah, this was absolute complete garbage. Like I said, I only wanted to review it because it was the last Sturgis show ever.
That's why I picked it.
Yeah.
I hope DDP and Benoit's back wasn't hurting on carrying this crap, but
yeah, it might have been.
I mean, it certainly was a watch.
Yeah.
I don't think you should not watch it if you want to watch old WCW stuff. I do think the bad stuff appreciates some love too.
Right. Well, I don't know about you. My eyes are hurting after watching this. So
we got to cleanse ourselves with the next one here.
We will. Next week, ladies and gents, we are cleansing ourselves with some more SummerSlam. We're going back to New York, man. It's WWF SummerSlam 1998. It's coming up on August 19th. That's a big one. It's got the ladder match that I have a figure of Triple H of, from that match.
I have The Rock.
Nice. And then on August 26th, we're doing ECW Born to be Wired 1997. I would normally pump up what we're doing in the coming month, but there's some interesting stuff that we're going to be doing next month in September that I'll cover when we get closer to it. But right now, just know next week we'll cleanse your palate with SummerSlam 1998 and then ECW Born to be Wired 97. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. That may compete with this show for worst we've done so far. I don't know yet.
I've seen it. I just don't remember. I got to watch it now.
That might be a good thing.
It might not be. If it was good, I remember it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now you got to rewatch it. So screw you.
I hate you for that.
Well, next week, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tune in and also go check out the archives. Lots of great stuff on there. And follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. It's at @mainevent_marks. On email, if you want to email us, It's maineventmarkspod@gmail.com. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/maineventmarkspod. And of course, always go to our YouTube. We got all the archived episodes on YouTube. Just search for Main Event Marks. It's archived episodes plus some extra goodies that we've done on there, some YouTube exclusives. Yeah, thanks for joining me today, Greg, for this.
Yeah, for this.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we'll see you all next week with SummerSlam 1998.